Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Season 2 of Yugioh Vrains. Now Yugioh Vrains the second season aired from 2018 to 2019, and it is a pretty long season. Now this review is spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about any sort of twists and turns and outcomes of the matches being spoiled or anything like that. The basic plot for this season is that Kusanagi's brother has his consciousness stolen by a new enemy in the Vrains, and Yusaku and company must go against this new threat, while Yusaku is also avoiding Soltec as he's now on their wanted list. So there are people with who are like bounty hunters going after him as well. Now, before I continue with this review, I want to ask you a question. Who is your favorite character from this second season of Vrains? And what was your favorite duel? Let me know in the comments down below. And now we're going to go back to the review. So you saw with the characters you currently know, like Yusaku. He has changed quite a bit from the first season. Now he's not as reluctant for help and such, and we have some new characters like Soulburner, who is pretty much who is the final slot of the trio for Vrains, and he's sort of like that Crow or Janucci for this show. Aoi Zaisen actually goes through a few changes too this season. And she sort of undergoes this really awesome arc, which I can't go into here because of spoilers, but it's a pretty good arc. And then I also really like Revolver's new design as well. There are certain characters that also are they do things with them that you would not expect, like with Go. And they also do a lot of interesting world building this season with sort of more information and such about the Ignis, which is what Ai comes from. And the way the season's formatted is the first half is definitely a lot more laid back, I would say. I wouldn't say it's obviously beach episode laid back, but it's definitely more overall. Overall, there is a bit of a lower stakes, as it's just more of everyone. It's not like a direct conflict. It's mostly how would I explain this? It's it's more like people trying to find out everything, and sort of it's not like a do or die sort of thing with the duels. It's mostly sort of, I guess you could say, dueling for information, that sort of thing. So it's definitely not as high stakes as the tail end of Vrains, but there are still some stakes here. And then the second half is just when the two opposing sides actually go against each other. So that's sort of the base of it. Unfortunately, I cannot talk about the villains in this review, since that is a spoiler. But I will say the main villain for this season, I really did enjoy. The fact that they had they're the kind of character that you just love to hate. Had such a big god complex, but at the same time had such a big inferiority complex, which was kind of fun to see. And the reason why I'm being so adamant on not revealing these things for these reviews, because this season actually had quite a few plot twists thrown at the viewer, and I feel like discussing anything, especially with anything with the villains in particular, would potentially lead to me letting slip a spoiler or two. So I want to do my best to keep my lips sealed on this one. For this season, the opening was Go Forward by Kimuru, who also did the overlap song for Duel Monsters, which was the 5th opening theme. I do really like this opening, and fun fact, this is actually the longest running opening in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, running from episode 47 to 102, which is the whole season. So yeah, this is a pretty long season as a heads up, at around 55 episodes, which is really long, especially really long for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Spin-off with, I do really like this opening, and I will say one of the downsides, though, is that they do not change the visuals for the opening at all. So at around, I want to say around like 30 episodes in or so, or like 25-ish, around the halfway point, the opening becomes incredibly dated. Like, none of the visuals really correspond at all with what's happening currently in the show. And there's certain characters that also have that sort of go through some visual changes that they do not keep up with in the new OP. And so the opening for the first like 30 episodes, I would say it's like a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. But the second half, it's like a 3, just for the lack of an update on the visuals there. And I should mention, before I go continuing with the music, I should mention some characters did get some redesigns too. Revolver got a redesign, and it is pretty damn cool. And then you have Blue Maiden, and Blue Girl, and Blue Angel, sort of that evolution for Aoi. I hope I didn't let out too big of a spoiler there. But yeah, Aoi Zaizen does actually have a sort of arc that she grows from, and is honestly have Aki give Aki a run for her money for the best girl character in the franchise. And then for the ending themes, you have the first ending theme, which is Calling by Kiyomaru. Wait, no, that's the third opening. Sorry, I'm skipping through season 3. I'm dumb. I'm sorry. So the third ending theme is actually Boy by Uchiru. And then this fourth ending theme is Glory by Bandmaid. Now, both ending themes are just really fantastic. And though I will say that Glory is the better one, as to be expected from, if you know my opinion, Bandmaid on this channel. And yeah, I'll go so far to say it's probably the best anime ending theme ever. Do not at me. And Bandmaid's the only band so far to escape the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains ending curse, as pretty much so far every other group that has done an ending theme for Vrains outside of Bandmaid has disbanded either right before or shortly after. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to look at. And then in terms of the duels, the duels this season are really damn good. There's like so many duels in this season, which not only could you make a case for being in the top 10 in this show, or you can make this there's quite a few that might make a case for top 10 in general when it comes to the entire franchise as a whole. There are some very strong contenders, which I cannot really discuss here, which I'm going to do a spoiler talk video. So if you want to see all that, then I'll discuss that. Then I'll go ahead and link that video at the end of this one, so you can go ahead and watch that. The animation this season, it's pretty decent. There are some points where the animation just kind of looks like odd or wonky at times, or sometimes really funny. There's this like scene with where Akira is like typing on the computers and his arms are like flapping out like this, sort of like. And then there's also one of the newer characters, Bowman, who has sort of like sometimes has these weird, really memeable animations. But overall, it is a Yu-Gi-Oh show, so it's the kind of animation you'd expect from a Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And in terms of the everything that's being said, there are also a lot of within the story. I should also mention there's a lot of also underlying themes going throughout on sort of the concept of free will and what isn't considered like to be having free will and that sort of thing. Some very deep philosophical things which honestly might surprise some people because it's not something you expect in a Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. This is like the sort of like things that this season like sort of tackles in terms of themes is something that you'd more expect with something from a 90s anime or even like Ghost in the Shell. I know that's kind of a weird thing to throw in there, but this season does share a lot of the ideas from Ghost in the Shell in terms of its overall theme. And it is a season that I really enjoyed, especially in the second half, where the second half I pretty much binged through it as quick as possible because I always wanted to see what happened next. And this is this is honestly overall probably one of the best arcs in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know if it's gonna be definitively the best, over the Baryon Onslaught arc in Zexal or Dark Signers arc in 5Ds and the Zone arc in 5Ds, or the season 4 of GX and the U-Bell arc in that. Yu-Gi-Oh has had some pretty damn good arcs, but this one is really good too. Overall, my final score is I'm going to give Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains Season 2 a 9.5 out of 10, giving it a tier of Masterpiece. Now, what were your thoughts on Vrains? And tell me what you thought of this season in the comments down below. And also let me know what your favorite ending theme was for this season. And do not forget to watch my spoiler talk video so you can get a more in-depth look at everything on how I felt on a lot of things for this season. And with that being said, thank you for watching and have a great